A 19-year-old boy was slapped, thrashed, assaulted by a mob inside his home in Maharashtra's Bhiwandi. What for? Take a look at that. Because he supported Nupur Sharma's comments on a social media post and asked tough questions to the radicals. Speaking up for peace, he condemned death threats against anyone, and urged people to become human beings first than focus on religious ideologies. Rather than appreciate this sanity and courage of this young boy, a mob barged into his house, his own house, and this angry crowd slapped him and forced him to recite Islamic prayers. And this was till the police had to rush in, took him into preventive custody, and now charges are filed not against the men slapping him, but against this teenager. Take a look at the timeline of what unfolded.
A massive backlash over Nupur Sharma's prophet remark. Thousands of Muslims taking to streets. Some staging protests. Others indulging in street clashes and even arson. Amid the fury, a Muslim teen found himself at the receiving end of mob fury for backing Nupur and her right to free speech. The youth engineering student Saad Ansari had posted comments on his social media account, denouncing radical outbursts against Nupur and opposing brazen death and beheading threats to her. His post soon went viral and several Muslim voices started abusing him. Ansari was even assaulted by a mob, led by a local corporator of the ruling Congress party, which forced itself into his house in Bhiwandi near Mumbai. Ansari was slapped, manhandled and was forced to read the kalma or Muslim prayers for penance.
तमाम निजामपुर के जो भी बच्चे थे वो यहाँ पे पुलिस स्टेशन में आए, सबके साइन किया हुआ एक मेमोरेंडम यहाँ पे दिया है और इनसे रिक्वेस्ट की है कि उस पर एफआईआर करें। इंशाल्लाह एफआईआर होकर उस पर जो भी कानूनी कार्रवाई वो होएगी। और मैं एक ही मैसेज देना चाहता हूँ कि बस अब इसके बाद में अगर किसी ने इस तरीके की बदतमीजी किया, कानून अपना काम करे, हम अपना काम करेंगे।
हम सब कुछ बर्दाश्त कर सकते गए, लेकिन रसूल आज़म सल्लल्लाहु अलैहि वसल्लम की शान में अगर कोई गुस्ताखी करेगा तो हम बर्दाश्त नहीं करेंगे।
His ordeal didn't end there. Ansari was arrested by the Maharashtra police for backing Nupur Sharma. The cops lodged an FIR against the youth for vilifying and attacking Islam. Did Ansari pay the price for being a moderate and denouncing open calls to violence and beheading? Bureau Report, India Today.
Now, it is also possible, remember, that this young teenager was taken into preventive custody initially because otherwise he could just have been lynched for a young man saying, become human beings first, don't talk about religious ideologies that can lead to killing or death threats. Let's go across to my colleague Mustafa Sheikh. He's joining me from Mumbai. Mustafa, the visuals are clearly scary. A mob landing up at your door for a comment that has been made, a 19-year-old young man. What are you picking up from the details? Is he still under custody? What are the police stating? How is the family reacting? Is the area around where he lives in Bhiwandi still tense?
Well, yes, he continues to be in custody because section which have been imposed against her is of promoting religious enmity. Now remember, we're talking about Saad Ansari, who's an engineering student, and he had called for peace, and that was actually not supported by the area which he lives in, which is Bhiwandi, just nearby the Thane district in Mumbai area. Ahead of it, there's a Bhiwandi area where this entire incident has taken place. What the police is saying that because the law and order situation in the area had become tense, they had to go and take the person in custody, book him under relevant sections. But if you look at it, the aftermath of it would be that the young student now has a case against him, and the violent assault on him was also seen. So we'll have to wait and see how far these things go. If somebody has made a comment and somebody is justifying it, till how far the people or mob can go around it, and what is the police action, because the police in this case clearly looks like supported the crowd, and just under the fear of law and order situation they have taken action against this 19-year-old boy.
You're making a very important point, Mustafa. If there are serious charges that have been filed against him and FIR against a student who actually is asking some tough questions and saying let's not support death threats against anyone. How is Maharashtra presently, Mustafa? Because there were violence reported from different areas in the state. What is the current situation? Because clearly this will put a lot of youngsters who want to question religion, who want to appeal against the usual mob violence, are going to be on the back foot.
Well, yes, currently in Maharashtra, the situation continues to be sensitive. Last Friday, when protests happened after Namaz, the protests were also seen in areas of Solapur and other parts of Maharashtra. Hence, the police is on alert, and also they have kept their social media cells on alert, because what they are saying is that any, any post regarding Prophet Muhammad, be it for or against, is something which is being monitored, because at this point of time, the situation, the sentiments are running high. People are taking law into their own hands, and we have witnessed riots and arson taking place in many other parts of the country, and hence the police continues to be on alert, and PM Modi's visit is going to be tomorrow. Hence the law and order agencies are taking all steps that such incidents are not repeated back to you.
So there's a VIP visit expected tomorrow, and they'll want to have the state at least retain peaceful. But this is terrible, and I feel for this young boy. Thank you so much, Mustafa, for the details, and we hope that Saad Ansari will be safe. He did nothing wrong. He actually made a very important comment, but in days like this, mob landing at your door for just a comment that you made on social media.